Welcome to Work the Word. Nolan here, and I got my good friend.
Let's go.
What's your name again?
My name is Josh.
We got Elvy here. Josh is MIA. Pray for him. We don't know where he is. But, I'm just kidding. But we're here, Work the Word, and this is our weekly podcast, weekly time where we get a little deeper on the weekend message. Right? We've been in a series. It's been a fun series. I liked it. Did you like it?
Super meal and beat.
Yeah.
So love it.
Yeah. It's we've been on a series called The School of Faith. And we are pretty much just looking at the life of Abraham, or at that time, Abram. And if you don't know, he is known as the father of faith.
Yeah.
And I think it's so easy to see that no matter where you are in life, a lot of times we want to have more faith. We want to be able to just grow in faith.
Yeah.
Because we know that with faith, comes the miracles. With faith comes things that we cannot do on our own. With faith, we reach areas where God is calling us to, but it's that faith in God and faith in His Spirit and just faith in His plan, right? And so this past Sunday was something a little different.
Yeah.
Because the first two Sundays, or the first two parts of the message, was kind of like, it was heavy.
Yeah.
It was pretty heavy, just hitting us like hard, from, are we building altars or are we building towers? And then, are we trusting the story, right? How we saw Abram go to Egypt and, how that turned out. And then now this one was more, I wanted to make sure it was a little more lighter, a little more something that we can have a little breather. And it was, our topic was to be battle ready.
Sergeant Nolan, right?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Right. Is that the right angle? I don't know, right? To be battle ready. I don't have to explain it, because that we are in a battle. You could just take a few seconds right now and you could think about, these are the battles that I'm going through, right? And how do we experience victory in the battle is what we talked about. Elvy, what were some things that spoke to you? Maybe some questions you have, maybe some insights. I don't know.
Yeah. Actually, these questions are coming from those who are beginning to understand what's the school of faith. Like, they just enrolled with this school of faith, so they're kind of new. So number one that resonates to me is that the number one point that you have, stay armed.
Right.
So what are those practical steps that probably for beginners, like the youth, the young people, they just got into the game, and how can I stay armed? Mm-hmm. Like those practical steps. If you're entrepreneur, also like an employee, different perspectives.
Yeah. I think specifically for staying armed, you gotta know what weapon to use, or what weapon or what armor to equip, right? And so I think in our faith, or just in our journey, there's different types of battles we go through, right? And so the first thing that you got to do, or I got to do, is to be able to distinguish what type of attack that the devil or the world or the enemy or the principalities, or, as scripture says, what type of attack is usually on me, right? What type of strategy does the enemy usually use on me? Does that make sense? Yeah. Once I begin to realize, look, this is my number one go-to temptation, or this is what I usually go through, or for some reason, this always hits me. And if you don't recognize that, because sometimes we go through it so much, we think everybody goes through it.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
Right? Like, I think we all go through it. No, the best way to recognize what attacks usually happen to you is ask someone who's close to you.
Yeah.
And say, what type of attitude do I get
Yeah.
when I'm not in a good mood? Or what do you notice about me when I'm being attacked? Because then you'll begin to see like, oh my gosh, like, okay, I become super tired,
Yeah.
maybe, right? Someone might say, you know what, I become super bad attitude. I'm Mr. Negatron, right? Like I'm negative.
Exhausted.
Yeah. The other one might be super exhausted. The other one might be I become combative, like I'm always arguing, right? Or another one might be, I notice you always call me for inuman sessions when you're stressed. Like maybe you run to alcohol or drugs or something. Once you begin to, or just a mindset, once you begin to see and distinguish what are those normal, not normal, but what are those, I guess,
Default.
default pathways you always go, or default solutions that you always run to. Once you know that, then you realize, okay, because I go there because I'm not armed.
Yeah.
So the enemy can hit me easily.
Yeah.
So now that you know, then you got to arm yourself with the right thing. Does that make sense? For example, if, let's say, mine is sometimes the enemy will hit my insecurity, right? That I'm not good enough or that I'm not doing well. When the enemy likes to hit me there, I like to just shut down. And, like I'll play a pity party in my mind, but mainly I'll be inactive. And I'll just stay home. I'll just eat.
Like a victim.
Yeah, exactly. So the way I armor up is I gotta make sure that I'm always, I have a disciplined action,
Wow.
right? And so just very recently, what I've been doing is I've been going to the gym. And so this is a scheduled discipline to keep me active, right? And I go with Mr. Cameraman behind this, right? Jason, he's getting
ripped already.
right, yeah, he's getting buff for his wedding, right? He told me he's gonna wear a tuxedo without a shirt.
Oh, wow.
Or a barong without a shirt under. Barong without a shirt under. Woo! He's gonna give Mabel a treat. Yeah. But does that answer your question?
Yeah. It does make sense. And then lastly, I think one of the life skills that we have is the number 6, stay resilient.
Yeah.
So there are lots of quotable quotes that you have, and also especially the biblical reminder that we have. So that resonates really. Like in your introduction, you said that I thought when I became a Christian, I'm safe already. Like I'm already secured from those difficulties, struggles. But it's not the reality, right? But it says here that we should be resilient. So how can we have that kind of attitude towards like resiliency? I know it's not an overnight success where when you switch it on, you're resilient already.
Yeah.
So we have to go through the process. So how can we like help those people who are like, I want my peace, I want my own, like what you said, you choose to be at home, you seclude yourself from the accountability groups and all of that. So how can we give also some sort of clarity for those people na it's either baby Christian pa lang sila, or they just attended Inspired Church, or maybe they are in a journey. So what would be our practical steps?
No, yeah, that's a great question, Elvy. Let me read you Genesis 14. So that's the passage we are in, and this is where we see Abram's nephew Lot get taken, right? He's part of Sodom and Gomorrah, and he's been taken with the group. Abram hears about it, right, and arms up, calls the call to war, right, and says, calls the 318 men from his home that he raised up, and they decided to go. And so let me read. I'll read verse 14. Genesis 14, verse 14. It says, now when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his 318 trained servants who were born in his own house and went in pursuit as far as Dan. He divided his forces against them by night, and he and his servants attacked them and pursued them as far as Hobah, which is north of Damascus. So he brought back all the goods and also brought back his brother Lot and his goods, as well as the women and the people. I want to focus on, there's two things right here. It says that, first of all, it says that they pursued as far as Dan.
Yeah.
And then it said that then they pursued as far as Hobah, right? So here's these guys that are going to war. Their main objective is to get Lot back, all right? And it says that they're pursuing. So they go pursue past Dan. It's not there yet, right? So then they got to keep going. So now and it's nighttime, and it's pitch black, and they're going divided, right? And so, like I shared on Sunday, like, they don't got night vision, right? They don't got comms, right? Alpha 1, go.
Yeah.
Right? Foxtrot 2, ready? On my mark, right? They're not doing that.
Yeah.
And so, what caused them to keep pursuing, right?
Yeah.
A lengthy way.
Mm.
What caused them to keep pursuing was they understood their objective.
Yeah.
It's to get Lot back. And we will continue to pursue until we get Lot back. If I don't have Lot yet, then we're still pursuing.
Yeah.
Because that is the main reason why we went out.
Yeah.
Right? To be resilient, you got to make sure you know 100% what you are pursuing.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know what you're pursuing, then the journey of that pursuit will feel heavier
Yeah.
than actually, right?
Yeah.
Than the goal. If we are just pursuing just to pursue and just to move, just to have forward movement,
Yeah.
then that's not good enough, right? If you're just trying to just survive, if we're just trying to, just to see what happens, if we're just trying to just to go with the flow, I'm telling you, eventually you're gonna get tired,
Yeah.
and you're gonna go back
That's
to wherever you are. But if you have the goal, and if you know what you are pursuing, right? For example, if I'm pursuing to be more like Christ, then I will make sure that I know exactly the areas in my life that is not Christ-like. And I'm not gonna stop
Yeah.
until I have disciplined my body. Like Paul says, I beat myself down to submission so that my body totally glorifies God, right? Example, Jason is not gonna stop going to the gym until, right, his wedding day, and he sees his goal. Does that make sense?
Sure.
And the things along the way will continue to encourage him, right? That he lost 4 kilos in 1 week, right? I don't know if that's healthy or not, but he did it. No, but I'm just joking. It is.
After the wedding, you will eat a lot again.
After the wedding, the feast comes,
Go.
baby. Does that make sense, though?
Makes sense.
Because resilience, it's a mind game. It's such a mind game. Because before people get physically tired, they get mentally tired.
Oh yeah.
My pastor told me this. Before you see someone physically leave the church, they mentally left the church way before.
Oh,
The body comes last,
makes sense.
right? Because once you mentally leave the church, then your heart leaves the church, and then eventually your body will leave the church. And so resilience is disciplining your mind and saying, okay, here's another thing. Am I going to allow these thoughts in my head,
Yeah.
right? To be resilient is I got to make sure that, I got to make sure my mind is sharp. Not allowing these false narratives to play around, not allowing these false assumptions to play around. Does that make sense?
True.
Right? It's so funny because one of the things that would have stopped me from the goal if I was Abram was that it was Lot that I'm going to go after. Because if you don't know the chapter before, because we didn't go into context on Sunday because I wanted to make it more lighter, right? Because let me go here.
Yeah.
In Genesis chapter 13, it answers why, maybe people were asking, why is Lot in Sodom, right? In Genesis chapter 13, it talks about why Abram and Lot split ways.
Yeah.
Let me read it. In Genesis 13, it says, let's read from, I'll read from chapter 13, verse 5. It says, Lot also, who went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. Now the land was not able to support them, that they might dwell together, for their possessions were so great that they could not dwell together. And there was strife between the herdsmen of Abram's livestock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock. The Canaanites and the Perizzites then dwelt in the land. So Abram said to Lot, so let me give you a breakdown. They have too much now.
Yeah.
Please understand, the only reason why they have too much is because they went to Egypt.
Yeah.
Which they were not supposed to go to Egypt. But they went to Egypt, and so they got these blessings, which is now going to be a curse. Because now Abram's shepherds are fighting with Lot's shepherds.
Yeah.
Because there's too much sheep, not enough land.
Yeah.
And they're butting heads. And so Abram goes to Lot and says, please let there be no strife between you and me. Because eventually, if the family is fighting, eventually the head of the family are gonna fight, right? And says, look, let's not fight, right? Please let there be no strife between you and me, and between my herdsmen and your herdsmen. For we are brethren, we're family, right? Is not the whole land before you? Please separate from me.
Yeah.
If you take the left, then I will go right. If you go to the right, then I will go to the left. And it says, Lot lifted his eyes and saw all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, right? Before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Just because it looks good doesn't mean it's good.
Boom.
Right? And then it goes, it's like the gardens of the Lord, like the land of Egypt as you go towards Zoar. Then Lot chose for himself all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east. And then Abram went the other way.
Yeah.
Check this out. When I was reading this, Lot chooses the plains of Jordan because it looked like Egypt.
Oh, wow.
So he thinks that because he went to Egypt, now he has this comparison.
Yeah, the picture that he...
Right? And though it was, they didn't believe in their God. It was very hedonistic. It was crazy. He decides, I'm going to choose that place because it reminds me of Egypt. And it's super green.
Yeah.
What does he do, right? It says that Lot lifts his head and looks. Right?
Yeah.
Here's the beauty. Abram never lifted his head and looked. He didn't look and see what's best for him. Right? What did he do? He simply was straight talking.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you want? You want the left? I'll go right. You want the right? I'll go left. Do you know when Abram actually looked up? Do you know?
When?
It is when God spoke to him again.
Oh.
And God tells him, I want you to look and see the stars and see the sand. When we begin to look at what we want without God's direction, we're going to see things that look green and look good, but is not good for us. But when we wait and just keep our eyes on God and then just look up when He tells us to look up,
Yeah.
then even the wilderness will look like a blessing. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So crazy.
It's crazy, bro. Like,
Mind blown.
yeah, like Abram chose the wilderness. He literally chose what Lot didn't like. because it did not look like it was good.
Yeah.
But when God directs you to look, bro,
Yeah.
even the desert looks good,
Yeah.
right? And so eventually Lot goes, and then that's when he gets in trouble. Here's the beauty of it. Abram was always a peacemaker.
Yeah.
Most of us in Filipinos, right? Kung may problema sa pamilya, kung may right? There's talk.
Everybody just want to be always right.
Yeah.
Parang ganun.
Especially in compound living,
Yeah.
multi-generational homes, right?
Yeah.
Mga pinsan, mga mga what does the heads usually do? Parang just ignore.
Yeah.
Wala yan.
Ignore the offense.
Oo. Tahimik lang. Magtahimik lang tayo. Right? And then eventually until it blows up. But Abram was like, no, I'm not going to wait.
Yeah.
I got to deal with it right now.
So good.
I think, you know what I think Abram was asking? What I think Abram would have really wanted was Lot say, Abram, no. I want to be with you. And so we'll make this work. I'm probably going to have to sell off some of the sheep. Maybe let the shepherd, the herdsmen, do their own thing. You know, right?
Yeah.
Like, or he should have called upon the Lord. Abram called upon the Lord. He literally built an altar and called upon the Lord before he had this conversation. What did Lot do? He just built a tent. He never called upon the Lord. And so I think, to be battle ready, beyond Sunday, we read the points.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Sunday, watch Sunday. Watch it online. The greatest battle ready we can be in our context, in our culture, right, is be peacemakers, not peacekeepers.
So,
right? Right, Jason?
that's true.
Right? Because if you're a peacekeeper, it feels like, it may sound like peace,
Yeah.
but it's a volcano ready to erupt. Have you experienced that? I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Actually, peacekeeper, I always see myself as a peacekeeper. I'm not there's a personality that you're afraid of, like what April
Conflict.
said, conflict.
Yeah.
You're not argumentative. You don't you just want to let it like a boiling water, diba? So you just let it boils down.
Oh.
Yeah, I think there's a huge difference to be a peacemaker and peacekeeper. And sometimes it's so hard to put up a facade that you want to be a peacekeeper. You want all this peace, but in terms of problem resolution, you're afraid to talk about it. But I love what Abraham said. He let Lot choose. It's either left or right. But I think I saw his heart also is that whatever Lot chooses, as long as Lot is happy and they could meet halfway. Yeah. I think that's the mindset of Abraham as well. So and let the Lord bless whatever the choices that they had. At least they resolved the conflict from.
Here's the thing, bro. When you begin to know the scripture, please know, to be a peacemaker will be the hardest decisions you would ever make.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. Let me tell you why. Because you're not asking why, but let me tell you why. I'm just kidding. Why did Abraham go from his father, from all of that? Because God called him.
Yeah.
God called him why? He said that he's going to be a blessing to the nation.
Yeah.
Right? That God's going to bless them. And those who bless him will be blessed. Those who curse him will be cursed. That he's going to be, in a sense, the father of generations. Right? So, who did he go out with? when he left his father? Who went with him?
The whole family, actually, Lot also wiped out with the father.
Yeah.
And also the wife.
Yeah. So Sarai went and Lot. Can Sarai give him kids?
No.
She was barren.
Yeah.
So where will the generations come from? In his mind, in Abram's mind. It'll come from Lot.
Yeah.
No, it'll come from Lot.
Yeah.
Because since I adopted him, nag-ampon ako, he's my son now, right?
Yeah.
Because Nahor was my brother, and so now I, as the head of the house, will adopt him as my own,
Oh, yeah.
right? So if I don't have children, he will bear my name,
Yeah.
and the generations would come from him,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
So in a mental mindset, in a natural mindset, what's going on? In a natural mindset, he is telling, he only knows that the blessings will come,
Yeah.
right,
Right.
through either Sarai or through Lot.
Yeah.
So now he's in a position where it's not coming through Sarai, because we've tried and we've tried and we've tried. That's what he's thinking, right? We know the story though, but Marty Solomon, that the theologian, says this, that sometimes in the Bible there are what we call, I think he calls it fairy tale melodies, where lullabies. He calls it fairy tale lullabies or something like that, where you know the story, you've heard the story so much that we miss the gold. So Abram knows that Sarai can't have kids. So now everything that he believes is that the promise is going to come from Lot. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now he's telling Lot to leave. That's crazy, bro.
Painful.
Bro,
Yeah.
just imagine. Because later on, how do I know that? Later on, nagtampo si Abram.
Yeah.
And he tells God, God, paano to? Sinabi mo. Why is he mad at God? Because it seems like the only way that God will fulfill the promise was through Lot, and Lot's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Same with.
So if I believe, right, that Lot is going to be the blessings, would I actually deal with conflict? No.
Yeah.
But he does, because he wants to be a peacemaker. So many times we don't want to deal with conflict kasi we'll think, no, it's my family. Or no, it's going to make things worse. At the end of the day, but not dealing with the issue is a bigger issue.
Yeah.
Right?
That's.
I know it's a little deep,
Yeah.
but we got to see the story, right? We got to see the story. And so to be super battle ready, you got to deal with the issue.
Yeah.
Got to deal with the issue. If it's in your family and there's an issue with your marriage, you can't just sleep it off
Yeah.
and kiss and make up
Yeah.
and never deal with it. It's gonna come and bite you again. If it's in your business, bro, if there are yellow flags of an employee
Yeah.
or a yellow flag in your finances, you better deal with it now, because once it's a red flag, it might destroy your business.
Kind of snowball.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I love the story of Abram as we've been diving in. You know, and so I want to encourage each one of us. We got to be battle ready. We got to make sure that. I like how you said that we've enrolled in the school of faith.
Yeah.
As we enroll in the school of faith and as we learn how to grow our faith, get battle ready, right? Get armed, get trained, get planted. There's more, but at the end of the day, also make sure that you're dealing with issues.
That's true.
Dealing with issues. Yeah, right.
I have some few just for sort of clarity as part of our conclusion. So since we're being battle ready, so it means first step is you have to acknowledge what you've said. There is a battle. There's ongoing war inside, not just in our mind, even in our family, the marriage, we have to fight for it. They said marriage is really a hard work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, there's a season that you have to acknowledge also there are issues, underlying issues that we have. Like an iceberg. You can see the tip of an iceberg, di ba? And there's a lot of issues in it. So if things that we are settling is just on the surface, deep inside there's a deeper.
Yeah.
But what I love also what you said last Sunday was we look to Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith. Like we're talking about this school of faith. At the end of the day, it's like what you said. Fall in love with the Word of God,
Right.
because the Word in the beginning was the Word was God, and the Word was with God. And the Word, it became flesh, human flesh, and that's why we believe here that the ultimate source of our wisdom and knowledge is the Bible, the Word of God, and that is why we get all those principles. But just for part of those clarity is like for those people who are like in a paradigm of, let's say, confused about the Christian journey, what would be your practical steps for them to, like, yes, we have 6 steps, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, from it's so I know it's striking from when you lay down all those steps. Like I want to grind that Sunday, not because it's so powerful. I think it resonates what's our journey as well. Like for example, in our marriage, it's hard to face the conflict if both of you are switched off. There's no open communication. So my question is, how do you grow from there? Wherein both of you are going through issues, both of you are probably like going through challenges. Like, yes, we need to be battle ready, but probably 1 or 2 steps for us to, like, for married couple or probably for young people who are navigating this life.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is exactly what you said, right? That we got to be battle ready. So everything that you've explained, also with context of a marriage and everything, or in life, what you simply verbalized was that we are going through. What do you do when you're going through a battle?
Yeah.
Right? And the way for you to go through the battle, the number one step if you're both in the battle, right, is humility. Humility opens the door to experiencing the victory.
Yeah.
If I'm not humble, if I don't feel like I need help, then there's no way I'm going to be battle ready.
Yeah.
Right? So in a marriage, I always, it's always the man should always be the first to be humble. Always, bro. I don't care if it's not even his fault.
Yeah.
You're the man. You open that door, and you humbly not take blame.
Yeah.
Sometimes people will take blame, but it's peacekeeping, not peacemaking, right? Oh, sige nga. Oh, sige, sorry.
So issues are
Yeah, it's just you're not dealing with it. It's false humility. You're not really humble. You just want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
But if you're humble and start with, hey, look, would you forgive me? Because right now I'm not understanding what's going on, but I want to serve our marriage and I want to serve you. So can we actually talk about this?
Yeah.
And as a wife, once your husband initiates opening that door, you better walk with him through that door. Don't be the peacemaker or peacekeeper and shut that door or say, okay, come inside. No, you both walk out into resolution. Please understand, wherever you are at, you both have to walk through a door of resolution,
So good.
of dealing with the issue. Not just the guy, not just the girl. You both have to walk out, because if one stays in the room, then you're still staying in that same atmosphere of tension or pride or issues. You both have to get out of that perspective and walk out. But I believe it's the man's job to always open the door first, right? Because he's the head of the household. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so that's the best way to be battle ready, bro. You're stealing all my info for Marriage Summit, bro. But yeah, great questions, man. Hey, look, as we are, you've been tuning in to Work the Word. It's just a quick time for us to get in here, ask questions, discuss, see where God takes us. And so maybe you are a married couple right now. If you're the guy, you're the husband, bro, you better, you drop your pride. You need help. Listen to me. Every guy needs help. You need help.
I need help.
Right? Yeah. And register to the Marriage Summit coming up next week, right? 21 to 22, Friday night, Saturday. Bro, get there. Bring your wife, right? If your husband doesn't, you're the spouse watching, look, send this clip to your husband and say, look, you bring us here, right? For the good of our marriage, for the good of our kids, we gotta go.
Longevity.
Yeah, longevity, right? Let's go. And so, thank you guys for tuning in to Work the Word. My name is Nolan. This is Elvy. Hey, we'd love to know your comments. If you could comment on YouTube, write up different things over there. We'd love to get to know you. If you got any other questions, right? We'll have Josh answer that because we don't know anything. Just kidding. But we'll see you on Sunday. It's going to be a great time here at Inspire Church, Inspire Center, Vertis North, Ayala Vertis North, 4th floor. Head over here. Follow us at Inspire Metro, or follow me at Inspire. Oh, what am I? At Nolan Galido at Instagram. I'm not on Threads. I'll never be on Threads. Love you guys. We'll see you soon.